Madam Speaker, thank you. First, let me associate myself with the gentleman from Texas and his fine remarks about the strengths of this country and how this country has led the world in every way and is the envy of the world. And I thank the gentleman from Texas for his inspirational remarks on this House floor. Madam Speaker, I look forward, too, with optimism to the 116th Congress. I refuse to be pulled down by the vortex of negativism and profanity that's engulfing social media and our cable television programming. Instead, I'm grateful for the opportunity to work to pursue policies that improve our nation. Madam Speaker, I spent my first 2 terms in Congress building relationships with my colleagues in both the House and the Senate and in both political parties. I've done this based on my experiences that I had in the 1980s as a staffer on the Senate Banking Committee, as well as my 4 years of service in the executive branch in the administration of President George H.W. Bush. I value political leaders reasoning together to find common ground to tackle our nation's policy challenges, large and small. In this context, I host periodic bipartisan dinners. I call these the Longworth Garner dinners, so named for Nick Longworth of Cincinnati, Ohio, Speaker of the House from 1925 to his untimely death in 1931, and his great friend, Congressman Jack Garner from Uvalde, Texas, minority leader much of the time when his friend Nick was Speaker. These 2 men could not have been more different. Longworth was from a patrician family that settled in Cincinnati in the early 19th century, and he was married to Teddy Roosevelt's oldest daughter, Alice. Cactus Jack Garner was a rough and tumble small-town lawyer from Uvalde who rose to be a successful county judge and then became a terrifically successful member of the U.S. House. As Garner put it, I was the heathen and Nick was the aristocrat. Longworth and Garner both came to Congress at the same time in 1902. Both served with distinction, both rose to the top of their political parties, and both were terrific friends. When Longworth was sworn into the speakership for the last time in April 1929, he paid tribute to his friend, the minority leader and future speaker, by saying, "The gentleman from Texas and I entered Congress together 26 years ago. That he is a better man than I am in the estimation of his constituents is made by the fact that his service has been continuous, whereas mine was interrupted by a vacation of 2 years, by no means on my own motion. During all these years of our friendship, it has been continuous, and the abiding in our affection, esteem, and respect, the one for the other, is and has been, I'm proud to say, mutual." For his part, on the untimely death of Longworth in 1931, Garner, who did become Speaker, said, "He was an aristocrat, I was a plebeian. Perhaps our different rearing intensified our interests in each other. I have lost one of the best friends of a lifetime, the country a good citizen, and the Congress a most valued legislator." It was Cactus Jack and Nick that cooked up the tradition in room H-128 of the U.S. Capitol that each afternoon, no matter how much fighting took place on this floor of the U.S. House, they retreated to H-128, which they nicknamed the Bureau of Education, to have a drink and strike a blow for liberty. Room H-128 went on to even greater fame as longtime Speaker Sam Rayburn of Texas continued this tradition that he'd witnessed as a young member. The purpose of my Longworth Garner dinners is to get to know each other, understand what our goals and objectives are for our constituents, and how we can work effectively together on the House Financial Services Committee. Madam Speaker, I will continue the tradition of Longworth and Garner in the 116th Congress. I look forward to working hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with my colleagues in both parties and on both sides of the U.S. Capitol to move this country forward and seek a better nation through our partnership. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The chair recognizes.